Good morning, everybody. I'm Ed Parcaut, Real Estate Jerky Daily. Yeah, about 23 minutes later than normal. Thursday is our Rotary Day, and today was our Christmas party, or it was supposed to be our Christmas party, but it was a different meeting. We had it connected with the Kiwanis, which is really good, but it was just not like our normal. And I'll just shut up right there before I get in trouble. All right, let's get on to the news. But before I went to the Rotary, I was really happy to see that the CPI number came in really tame, and that and I'll get into all this and break it down, but it is actually doing pretty well. The Dow's up 360 some points because it keeps fluctuating. Rates are improved by almost 20 basis points, and the 10-year sitting at 4.12. And I talked about this yesterday. Stop worrying about all these things I talk about. Most important thing, are you ready to buy, or are you ready to help somebody? Stop worrying about where rates used to be, because we're never going to see those again. And if I'm wrong, I'd love to be wrong about that. All right. So inflation data came in way better than they expected, which is unusual. So the headline rose only 0.2 over the last 2 months, or about 1% per month. I mean, 0.1% per month. Year over year CPI came in at 2.7%, down from 3% that they were expecting. And that's amazing. Also, the core, which is, takes out all the expensive stuff, food and energy, which is supposedly, according to Trump last night, all that's down. The best thing about last night, Trump talking, was the fact that he is giving service members $1,776 for Christmas. That is really nice of him to do that to our service members who make hardly anything to begin with. The core CPI, which I got before I got sidetracked, it was also up 0.2 over the last 2 months. Again, also 0.1 monthly. Year over year core CPI fell from 3% they were expecting to 2.6%. That is well below estimates. And they looked at all the different economists and everybody else, what they were thinking the number possibly could be, and it was nowhere close to those numbers. Shelter inflation, this is the one that drives a lot of the CPI, makes up 44% of the core CPI, only rose 0.1 per month and fell year over year from 3.6% to 3%. And why does that matter? Well, I think in the 90s, they actually took out homes, because those go up too much during inflation, and they put in rental payment amount instead of homes. And that's why they look at it this way. Yes, it's kind of a messed up system, but that's how it is. Lodging away from home, Airbnb, hotels dropped sharply 8%, which is a huge deflationary force going down. The other thing that was coming out today was initial jobs claims. They came in at 224,000, down 13,000 from the prior week. And that's a positive sign, and the sign of short-term resilience and layoffs. Continuing claims rose by 67,000 to 1.897 million, just shy of expectation. Even though this metric continues to trend near multi-year highs. But remember, the difference about this unemployment now and continuing claims is you don't stay on forever. You have a period of time, and then you're off. And that's what they're talking about, that U6 I've been talking about the last couple of days, with unemployment rate, regular unemployment rate versus the U6 rate, or U8. I'm sorry, it's one of those mornings. It has to do with the fact that that's people. The regular unemployment is people actively searching. The other one is people who was searching, not really searching anymore, and they're no longer on the rolls. And that is about 8.7%. So that has been going up and up. What else did we have today? That's really, that's it. That's the big news. And that is huge news. The fact that we keep seeing inflation coming in lower and coming in lower. What does that mean? And having unemployment keep getting more. We're not having 2008 unemployment, but we're having more unemployment than we're used to. And we're not having the pandemic where they kicked everybody off and told you to stay home. But it is significant compared to what we're used to. The rates love unemployment. They hate full employment, but they also like no inflation. So if you can have full employment and no inflation, we potentially could have lower rates. But the best way to have more lower rates is to have more people buying the bonds, the mortgage-backed securities. If they made that tax deductible for everybody, where you didn't pay taxes on the mortgage-backed securities, if we bought them and invested in them like other countries buy our bonds, that would be the best thing, because more people would do it and we'd have more people buying in, and that would help buy the rates down. And that's just my little soapbox for the day. That's really, I mean, I don't want to go on and on and on because there's not much more to go on about, but really just focus on if you're really ready to buy, rates are very decent right now. Not super low. I mean, for some people, if you bought a house in the last year and your rates in the sevens or very high sixes, you could refinance right now and save some hundreds of dollars depending on your loan amount, and then you should do it. And especially if you don't do it with points. Did you just hear what I said? Stop listening to these people out there, because I had somebody call me yesterday who found me through Google, and they were talking to somebody who had told them, "Hey, we reached out to you a year or so ago about this," and they'd never spoken to the person, but they didn't remember what they did or did not. And they got a quote from him, and he was quoting a certain rate at a certain payment. The problem was when I looked at that same, and he didn't put the new loan amount on their numbers that they shared. The problem with that is my 5 and a quarter payment was almost $60 cheaper than his 5 and a quarter payment. So that's telling me he's adding on a lot of costs onto that loan without seeing a APR, without seeing anything else. If that loan amount is not, that's the thing about our industry with loans and finance. Numbers don't lie, people do. So he was telling them a story to get them in, and then go back and, oh, by the way, I'm adding on, $12,000 to $15,000 worth of costs. Don't do those refinances. There's no reason to. Do one that is very least amount of cost, gets the most benefit to you, and then do it again in a year. If you do it the way we do it, and a lot of other companies who do it through UW and other places, they do it very inexpensively, and that's how you should do it. All right. I'll get off my soapbox. All right. That's all I have for today. I will be back tomorrow. And then tomorrow will be the last show for probably the holidays. I might jump in here, some major news happened, but tomorrow will be, because next week is Christmas week, and I usually don't do this stuff. I don't have any podcasts or anything else that week, so I'm actually going to get off the video, and everybody's like, "Yes, it's about time. We're tired of you on here all the time, every day." Well, someone's got to be here, right? All right. Make it a great day. If you don't hear from me, you'll hear from me tomorrow. But if you don't listen to us tomorrow, have Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. I hope you have happy holidays. And again, everybody make it a great day. And I will talk to some of you tomorrow.